It is time for your ascension. Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. And today I'd like to, instead of a question, I'd like to make a declaration. It is time for your ascension. Ascension. So what is ascension? Well, ascension, the term, means an awakening of your soul into a higher level of consciousness. It is a vibrational frequency that generates positive energy and light. Ascension unleashes your natural powers and wisdom. Ascension is an evolutionary process. It is a multi-dimensional process, but at the same time, because it is multi-dimensional, it's confusing. You're going into ascension, so many things are happening at the same time. So yes, but in thinking about it, because you get confused, you will feel it to a higher plane as it lifts you to a higher level. And we need that because right now we're standing in mud. That chaos and discord and discontent and mud. We are controversy, anger, conflict, chaos, incredible unrest, that we're like stuck. Plus, the mainstream media is working hard to focus us and our attention on the fact that we are standing in mud, that we're stuck in this mud. So our attention is being drawn to our feet, down to our feet, so that we can see that mud is all us. The propaganda tries to convince us that there is nothing but mud around us and seem to get away from it. So we get stuck. We look like we're stuck. We look like there's no hope. If program is doing this pronouncing, it's doing is destabilizing our mental condition. It's making us unsure of ourselves. It's making us unsure of our lives. It is seeking to create the desire. It's setting us up in such a way that we're hopeless. And it's setting the stage for us to welcome some going to appear out of nowhere and save us. The Savior has somebody please us. The trap. As we look back in history, strong leaders have appeared in times of great stress, many times before. I mean, we have Caesar, and we have Mussolini, and we have Stalin, and we have Hitler. They've all been strong men who came in to turn the country around, to save us from ourselves. They've all been strong men, and they have also been dictators. They've all led their countries into disaster. So, remember the words of Jesus in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 15 through 20, warning us of those who would seek for us or urge us to follow me. Jesus said, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits." You will know them by their fruit. And their fruits are oppression, deprivation, mental slavery. So what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is that each and every one of us has the power to lead ourselves. We've got the power right here to lead ourselves. The trouble is, we're so busy looking down at our feet, looking down at the mud we're stuck in, the chaos, the conflict, the controversy, that we fail to look up and see will pull us up out of this mess and into safer, more peaceful and loving existence. We don't see it. It is time for us to break free of that trance that is holding us down and to rise to our rightful place above all this chaos. Rise. Rise. Please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. Remember, I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts, and your suggestions. So please use the chat box on the right side of the screen or the comment section below the screen. Please, also, I'd love to get your support. You can support this ministry through PayPal by going to our website at bozemandevelopment.com and clicking on the Please Donate tab. Or you can use the Cash App at $Andre Amron. So right now, there is a lot of fear and anxiety around our world. Inflation is up. The stock market is down. The state of war persists all over the world. The pandemic won't go away, and now they're telling us there's another pandemic coming. There are supply chain issues that are causing shortages, and the baby formula is non-existent. It's not there anymore. And mass shootings are on the rise. And you know, in some countries, they're even telling people that they have to kill their pets in order to prevent the spread of COVID. No wonder people are panicking. You know, Caroline Mace, who I often, is now teaching a class online entitled Being Swallowed by the Dragon. And that's what it feels like right now, like we're being swallowed by the dragon. And her introduction to this class says, everyone is now living in the energy of the cycle of chaos to hope. We feel it in the airwaves. We sense it in our energy field. And we are experiencing chaos as we live through a society rapidly changing in ways that are unrecognizable. Right. Our society is changing so rapidly and in such a chaotic manner that most people are frightened that the world as they know it is coming to an end. No, not like apocalypse, but the world, the way things are set up, seem to be on their way out. In fact, a recent poll showed that 55% of Democrats, 53% of Republicans, and 49% of independent voters now believe it is likely that America will cease to be a democracy in the future. Imagine that. Cease to be a democracy. That's a stunning expression of despair about the direction in which our country is going. But before we go blaming any group or party for this dismal situation, we need to step back and see that we didn't get here overnight and that it took a lot of people in power to contribute to this mess. And what we also have to realize is that we ourselves also contributed to this mess. How did we do that? We turned our backs on our spiritual connections. We got so caught up in the material concerns of our lives. Gotta have a bigger and better house. Is my car the latest model? My vacation was more exotic than your vacation. I gotta get that next promotion. How much money can I get out of this? And while we were into all that materialistic stuff, we ignored our spiritual practices and principles as more and more people turned away from spirit. They just turned away. We stopped praying because things seemed to be going so well that we didn't need to pray anymore. And we didn't meditate because there's too much to do besides sitting quietly doing nothing. Who has time for that? And you know what? I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. It is so easy to get caught up and to go with what seems to be working. It's so easy to go with the bird in hand rather than the possibilities of the future. It is so easy. because spiritual practices require discipline, they require work, and the results are not always immediately obvious. So it's understandable that we get distracted by the shiny objects that are dangled in front of our faces in the material world. It's understandable. Except now we find ourselves in the middle of a growing disaster, and there seems to be no way out, no way to stop this darkness from overtaking our world. You know, there's an old saying that perfectly describes the situations we now find ourselves in. It says, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. So the past few decades after World War II have mostly been good times. And we got lulled into a sense of enjoyment and entitlement that would go on forever until it stopped. Yeah. So the darkness rolled in so gradually that we didn't really notice it until it was too big and too strong to resist. And now, with millions of small businesses going under in that COVID shutdown, just shutting their doors, people losing their homes, and all over the place, these rich vultures are buying them up with suitcases full of cash. The darkness seems to be unstoppable now. The darkness seems to be unstoppable. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do now? Well, the temptation is to start, when things start to go wrong, is to get discouraged. Discouraged is that it causes you to look down and feel despair. But when you look down, all you can see are the negatives. All you can see is that your feet are stuck in the mud. You don't look up to see the possibilities. So don't get discouraged. Don't let discouraged take you over. That's not the way to go. You know, I'm reminded of a passage from a book by Viktor Frankl entitled Man's Search for Meaning. Excuse me. When he's talking about the prisoners of the Nazi concentration camp. And here's what he had to say. The prisoners who had lost faith in the future, his future, was doomed. With his loss of belief in the future, he also lost his spiritual hold. He let himself decline and become subject to mental and physical decline. Today, we see those effects hitting our society as psychologists are telling us that depression and anxiety are on the rise. Suicide is on the rise. But this decline of self-worth and hopelessness for the future has to stop. So right now, we need to stop and we need to make a decision. And the decision is this: are we going to spend the rest of our lives in fear, or are we going to do something about it? That's the question. Are we going to live our lives in fear, or are we going to do something about it? And if you decide to do something about it, what are you going to do? Well, first, we need to accept the fact that we cannot do it on the physical plane alone. It cannot be done. There's just not enough. We can't stop them on the physical plane. But if we reach for something higher, if we reach for something deeper than the greedy, selfish opportunists and the self-seekers who place their own desires and principles above principles, if we reach above them, then we have power. We have power. So I'm urging you, we have to reach within ourselves, because when we do that, we become incredibly powerful. Yes, going in within makes us powerful. Why? Well, Jesus explains it in John chapter 14, verse 10. Believest not I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak not of myself, but the Father abiding in me doeth the work. He gave you the secret right there. The Father abiding in me doeth the work. The Father abiding in me doeth the work. The Father is infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence lives inside each and every one of us, waiting for us to wake up and discover who and what we really are. We are not helpless little sheep waiting for the guidance from some shepherd. We are powerful spiritual beings who have somehow been hypnotized into believing that we are weak and stupid and of no value. But that is just a belief. We have been conditioned to exist in a herd mentality and follow the crowd over the cliff. But that is just conditioning. That is not the truth. What is the truth? Marianne Williamson said it. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So how do we manifest the glory of God within us? Well, we turn to the practices that have worked in the past and continue to work now. We go within and we access the power that is waiting there for our call. We look to the light. We look to the possibilities of the future. We declare our goals. We declare what we intend for our lives to be. We lock into our future possibilities. Without a future, a goal towards which you are moving, then you are just putting one foot in front of the other without any sense of direction. And what you can do in that situation is you end up walking around in circles instead of in a straight line. But if we lock into our future selves and into our future lives through prayer and meditation and visualization and the belief in our own connection to infinite intelligence, we will get there. We will rise above. Why? Because we are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. We, each and every one of us, is an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. And when we realize that and begin to practice that, then our lives will change. And if we hold on to that vision of our future, then we will be lifted to the mountaintop. Yes. We will be lifted to the mountaintop because locking into that vision of the future just lifts us up. So cut that depressive outlook loose. It's not real. That is fear. Fear. False evidence appearing real. You know, most of what you fear has not happened yet, and it doesn't have to happen. Take a deep breath. Forgive yourself for being so negative. Forgive yourself for believing in the hype. Forgive yourself for letting yourself be hypnotized. And let's break free of that. Let's break free. Let's try this. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be convinced that there was no hope. I allowed myself to believe that my future is cloaked in darkness. It is a lie. I now know that I was in a trance and I reject it. I am now awake and I forgive myself. I let myself off the hook because I now know better. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I forgive myself. I am now empowered because I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and I am greater than my human self. I forgive myself. I now let go of the blame, the shame, and the guilt. I forgive myself. I open and accept the light of love from infinite intelligence flowing under, over, under, around, and through me. I forgive myself. I accept the peace that comes with this release. I now let go of that darkness so that infinite intelligence can lift me to my highest and best life. I know that I am loved and protected and always forgiven by infinite intelligence, expressing in me as me. Just repeat those words. Just repeat those words until you feel those injured places within you begin to relax. And as they relax, the pain will drain and they will become filled with light. Light will replace that pain. Remember, as spiritual beings, we are here to learn and to experience. We are here to face challenges. Those challenges we face on the physical plane are designed to strengthen us as we overcome them. Remember the words of Friedrich Nietzsche. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Without the challenges we face, we cannot grow. Without the challenges we face, our lives would be a waste of time. We'd just be pampered blobs of energy. So our challenges help bring us strength. Our challenges help bring us to our greatness. It brings out our greatness. And once we understand that truth, then we know that we are never alone. Once we know that we are spiritual beings and the challenges we face are there to build our greatness, like lifting weights, We are spiritual beings and we are never, never, never alone. We are always loved. We are always loved. And the only reason we don't feel that now is because life and propaganda have caused us to shut down and close up like little turtles in a shell. But remember this, the turtle can only move forward when it sticks out its neck. So, together, let us move forward. Let us move forward into our bright future, riding on the wings of infinite intelligence to claim our ascension. To claim our ascension, our rise to the highest planes. Let us rise together through infinite intelligence. That is the way. Let us close with prayer. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing all of us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we're beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And we know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for watching. Please remember to click on the thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already done so, it'd be great if you would subscribe. Remember, I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your questions, your comments. So please use the comment section below this video. And you can continue to support this ministry by going to our website at bozemandevelopment.com and choosing the Please Donate tab. Or you can use the Cash App and go to $Andre Amron. Again, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind.